let me bring in something that your colleague said, Mr.
Yeah.
Falana. He said
Yes.
something about armed robbers not being granted, and kidnappers not being granted bail. That why should the allegedly corrupt politicians or public office holders, why should they be granted bail? Let's go back a case in time. When this war on corruption started years back, there are some cases that are still pending, and some of those people are still in office, but on bail. How would that work?
You see, with due respect to the learned and my friend, Femi Falana, the truth of the matter is that there is a distinction between these two cases. If the police is on patrol and runs into a team of armed robbers, either operating or so, maybe they are able to arrest one person. That means you pick them in action. Then the other ones run away, and this one is able to point. Excuse me. Sometimes it's deep because you can't trace them, even if you release them. They are faceless human beings, okay? And don't forget that money is a very big factor in any society, even in churches and mosques. If you don't have money, in fact, somebody was even saying that if there is a payment of trip to heaven, some people will not make it on account of the hike in fare when the time comes. But that was a joke, but to underscore the factor of money in anything. It may not be fraudulently deployed, but you need money to leverage. Now, the man who is alleged to have committed corruption, offenses, they are not easily established as armed robbery, kidnap, and so on and so forth. You understand? That's why the problem the EFCC is having now, some of them might have to do with evidence. You know, for example, that this woman is not having fibroid. She's not married, but her tummy is big. And test shows it's not fibroid. That means there is a fetus inside that womb. But there is nobody coming to claim the father, and she's not talking. You understand what I mean? So who do you go and put? It's only when she points that this one is the one that raped me. Then you pick the person and you don't grant him bail because you don't know whether he will escape. But if bail is to enable you have temporary liberty, either to arrange your case and whatever, but it is based on conditions that you must come back to face your case. So if a corrupt man, so-called, is a multi-billionaire, you don't know whether he stole the money or not, you didn't see him, but there is presumption that he stole that money. It is not the duty of the man to tell you that he stole it. In our laws, he who asserts, it is you who has arrested him on account of what you think he has done that should confront him with the evidence. And most of the time, the people who commit these things are at a higher level of cerebral functioning. You understand? They are more intelligent than the average kidnapper or robber or something in the street.
The question now will be, if the cases, the old cases have not been resolved, old cases of corruption, what's the guarantee that this current surge in the war of corruption is going to be successful?
That is my own worry. And I said it clearly. Some people have misunderstood me. They say, I said the objective is right, but the strategies may be wrong. And we seem too fixated because corruption is a very multifaceted phenomenon. Ethnicity is corruption. You understand? Nepotism is corruption. Cultism is corruption. Because what is corruption after all? Corruption is a tendency where you appropriate either the group patrimony or national patrimony and share it either to yourself or to a certain group of people to the exclusion of others who are so entitled. That is the corruption we are talking about. You understand? In it, therefore, stealing could be part of the components and so on and so forth. So it is not only financial corruption. And I had always said that corruption is an ethnic citizen until now. Because in the beginning, when nepotism was at the height, you appointed people from your own area to come and chop. and then you aggregate a lot of people who have made money in the national till. And that is corruption. So, in order to protect those groups, you do everything. And if for any reason another person from another ethnic group comes in, he wants to outdo those ones who were there. After all, they did. Therefore, let me do. So that is how we escalated until they now formed a national club where they no longer are interested in where they come from, but in protecting their own class interest. And that is why they have ossified and have been able to make it impossible, because if we want to confront corruption in the legal sense, we need a very strong prosecution. Everybody saw the prosecution of Pistorius. The single-mindedness of the prosecutor. He was not capable of being compromised. He was knowledgeable. He was passionate.
In this fight, sorry to cut you there.
Yes.
In this fight, we're trying to look at the style and look at even the proceedings in the courts. And we had Mr. Falana talk about bail granted to some certain category of individuals, and also he's also putting that side by side with some other status of some citizens or criminals. Yes. Is that the issue now? Because sometimes it looks as if we're losing grip of what exactly we're pursuing here. We asked the APC, why is it that the APC member, Mr. Musa, why is it that we're getting to see different treatment given to some category of persons in this same fight against corruption, while others have been treated in other way? A case in point is the PDP National Publicity Secretary, which has been making the rounds, looking at the pictures and online and social media, where he was brought into court in handcuffs. And this, for some people, could mean something else when it comes to fighting corruption, especially knowing that he's a member of the opposition.
That was exactly why I made a general statement, that if you do not focus on the rule of law aspect of the crusade, you can easily get derailed by distractions of people who find a loophole. If Metu had been convicted and you even chain him with manacles after due process, then he's already a convicted criminal. But the presumption of law for those who are called suspects being seen as innocent, no matter how monumental the evidence you have as a prosecution, you have not tabled that for the consideration of the court that has the statutory and constitutional duties of doing that. Do you understand? Except there is evidence that the person is violent. Okay? And there have been arguments that Metu is not given to that. Okay? From his utterances. In fact, in terms of responsible commentary as opposition, Metu has been much better than the opposition when PDP was there. Do you understand? I followed that. I don't belong to any of these parties. If anything, PDP hurt me so badly. But I have to be objective beyond the sentiment of what happened in the past. So Metu was very responsible in his commentary and very objective in his assessments. Now, bringing him this way will not do anything other than detract and diminish. And that's the point I'm making. Because if you leave the leg of the turtle and grab the roots in the water, the turtle will go. Because this matter has not even been broached in court. This is preliminary. And it is not so, there is always the balance that it's not the first person to call police that wins the case. When people say people who stole must go to jail, how do you intend to do that? Are you the judge? And the question of saying that judges are compromised is very unfair, because judges cannot come on television to defend themselves. It is what you bring to the judge that he will adjudicate on. And the lawyers know this very well. It is only that the sentiment, when sentiment comes, reason takes flight, because they are two strange bedfellows. Do you understand? So many people have become so sentimental And they have played into the hands of the gullible Nigerians who are quick to judge because they don't think. Many Nigerians don't think. Our leaders also, most of them don't think. They are doers, they are not thinkers. So they follow the mood of the time. A leader should do what is right so that, for example, if you ask the children now at the small age to go to school, they want to sleep and take ice cream and watch cartoons. You understand? But as parents, you know what it is for them. You insist. They testify maybe when you are gone in life. If not for my father or my mother or my parents indeed, I would not have been this. With hindsight, it is only with age that wine gets better. That is governance. So governance must go on. Good governance is the best antidote to corruption. Do you understand? If governance is going on and everybody who is doing the right thing is flourishing, anybody who is corrupt will be a social leper. You can easily you will be weeded off.
Is that what we're saying now?
How can it be? It is not. I told you that what is happening now is the element of fear. Fear was used during the monarchical era. This is the age of reason. And the instrument of control for age of reason is persuasion. People must buy into, as you are now. Every Nigerian watch you guys on television, and admire the way you ask questions. If somebody should be at the back and teleguide you, ask this and don't ask this. At a point, you will tell yourself, did I go to school to behave like a moron? Because most of the leaders who want to teleguide you are not knowledgeable as yourself, who is serving their government. That is the tragedy. And most of these people who are serving in government want to pick Gary on the floor of the corridors of power than to work hard to take egg in their own homes.
So how do
and that is why we play into this kind of rubbish.